Hey, the governor sitting here talking about there's levels to this, thinking with the big head chapter. And I would have to say there are levels to this is probably like one of my favorite chapters. Why? Because it really helps to bring home the severity of thinking with the big head. There are levels to this. It explains that there are levels to life. There's levels to the process of being a man. There's levels to this, and when you get to certain levels in life, you have to govern yourself accordingly, and it breaks it down like when you're on a video game. When you get to different levels of the video game, it gets harder. Life gets harder as you go through this forward momentum that you have to experience in life. You have to understand that life is going to get harder, and so as I do things in life, if I don't govern myself accordingly with the big head, if I just play the game blindly, I'm going to be going through these levels and I'm going to be stuck on levels. It's going to be hard and I'm not going to know where to go. It would be like trying to play Zelda without a map. Like, imagine trying to play Call of Duty without being able to draw, like, pull up the map at all. Because you don't recognize that there's a map. Like, you just are good at just playing. And then just imagine if you would go on Call of Duty from novice mode or beginner to expert. Don't when you transcend from novice to expert. Aren't the boards still the same? The level is still the same. It's just harder. So let's say I'm gonna give a prime example because we use this all the time with the portal. You get the phone call and the phone call tells you, okay, I'm pregnant. Whoop, I'm on the next level. All right. The day before, I had to go to work. I still had to. I still did. I still did stuff. I ate. I ate. I did. Now that I got the phone call. I still got to go to work tomorrow. I still got to eat tomorrow. But guess what? Eating and going to work tomorrow is gonna be harder. I'm gonna have to work harder. I'm gonna have to. I might have to eat more. I might have to eat less and do more. The game is harder. It's more complicated. And guess what? I can't play the same. Can you play Call of Duty the same way on novice, the same way on expert? You can't do it. Well, what happened? You're done. If you don't learn from your lessons with women, and if you do something and you have a negative reaction or a negative consequence, or you go up in a level and you don't want to go up in a level, if you don't learn from the situation that you have created, you will die. And by that means you'll be reborn to start the level all over again. But what will happen is, if you're not careful, you'll be playing the same game on a difficult level or in two different places. And then you have to try to work hard to unite them. Because a house divided falls upon itself. And so if you create multiple families and they're not united underneath your following, then you'll fall apart. So that's the beginning of this. So what are the levels? We like to there's levels within levels. Within each level, there's the three levels. The levels are easy. You have novice, you have all pro, and then you have all Madden. Within these, within novice, you have all Madden, and you have all pro and you have all Madden. How you govern yourself in the level is, and what you will start to understand, like every single time that you play the game, when you introduce yourself to a person, you're starting out on the novice level, and as your relationship and process grows, you grow in levels with this person, and you'll start to be able to keep track of where you are. Like, I'm playing on the novice level with this person, I'm playing with the novice level, but I'm using my all Madden game because I know something here. If I'm using my novice, I'm just learning and learning. This is a new person and I'm learning about new things. I admit that. I don't know what's going on here. The sooner that I admit that, the sooner it is that I can grasp the truth. It's like saying, okay, I play Xbox. Or I play a game on a computer using a mouse and stuff. And then somebody gives me a PlayStation and I'm playing a game that's specifically for PlayStation and I'm playing it for the first time. Can I play it like I play the computer game? Can I use my hands the same with the the remote control as I do with the mouse? What if it's one of those games where I'm actually interacting with my body and stuff? Like think about how different that is. Think about how I have to start over. Like I'm a video game player over here. I'm a beast. I'm a beast on a computer game. But now I'm over here and I just got me this new PlayStation thing and now I'm a novice because I'm playing on a PlayStation only game and you never played PlayStation and you never played this game before. So I'm a novice. As I get my video game ability up on the PlayStation, then as I play games on other play other games on this system, then I'll be playing the game on, let's say, an all Madden or all pro level, but my gameplay is all pro or all Madden based upon my knowledge of how to play with the PlayStation. But if I get introduced to a new game, I'm still a novice. I'm still a beginner on the new game, but I'm playing it with all pro knowledge of the machine. So it's like when I meet certain type of people, I understand that this is when I meet mothers, just mothers in general. I know how I conduct myself with my mother. I understand my mother. I understand what a mother is and what a mother strives to be. I now know that I can govern myself with other mothers accordingly to get what it is that mothers give to men. They give them support, love, and affection, and this, that, and the third. It's in their nature. With thinking with the big head, I'm now using my big head to utilize the nature of humans, their little head, their natural tendencies. A woman's natural tendencies are to do things, and because I use my big head, I'm playing the game on a level. I'm using my knowledge and wisdom to govern myself accordingly. So there's levels to this. There's levels. 18 let's say in this day and age we'll say from 14 up to 21, 22, 23, 24, unless you have made certain decisions and commitments with a woman or with women, however you can choose to conduct yourself, you're playing on the novice level. If you have no babies, you're not engaged, you're not married, you don't have long lasting commitments, obligations, you are playing on the novice level. You're free to experience the world as you see fit because you're only playing the game of life for yourself. When you're on the novice level, everything is so that you can start to build this foundation of experiences in which you can build off of in life and develop your character that will take you, like, this is where you develop those dreams and develop those things that will give you the ability to achieve the dream, whether it's now or 20 years down the road. I had this dream of going to Japan, and when I was 18, between the years of 16 and 24, I read books on Japan. I did things and looked at things, and then when I was 50 and I retired from my job, I went to Japan. See how things that you did in these years, experiences, opportunities, books you've read, people that you've met, all these things that you meet at this time gives you the foundation and should give you the direction to how to achieve your goals in life, and then to be able to tell you what it is that you want to do after you achieve these goals. And it gives you some type of perspective and pool of resources to pull from for ideas to do things in life between these years of 14 and 24. Because this is when you take ideas that you might have had when you were a child, like, oh man, like, yo, I was mad. I was really into the Wizard of Oz, and so like when I was a child, I was into the Wizard of Oz. But then when I was 14, like I realized that, you know what, I wanted to find out, was that world Oz real? And so I took a step in how serious I took it, to the point where, like, Oz wasn't just something that I thought about; it became real to me, and then it drove me. It drove me, like in spare time. I was always just thinking about, man, this kind of proves this theory that I believe that Oz is real. And because I used my hows and whats and I used my journal, I just kept track of these things. And then later on in life, I wrote a book about it. I became great. There's levels to it. I understand that there was just a level of process of development of this thing that interests me, and I just built upon it because this interest was a part of who I am. And by building on the interest that I have and the things of who I am and using my hows and whats, I developed meaningful relationships, and it just made me a great person. It made for a good life. It wasn't hard. Like, it was good hard. I got what I wanted, and I got it in a way to where it was better. That all pro level, that's the tricky level. That all pro level is tricky because when you enter the all pro level, there's so many different ways that you can enter the all pro level, and it's so impactful on your life. Mind you, you play the novice level between 16 and 24, and somewhere along the line, a lot of men enter the all pro level. And this all pro level is recognizing that you have a commitment, i.e., a child is on the way, you're in college, you're now working towards your future. We usually, or you get engaged, and now you're not playing the game for yourself no more. You're playing the game for your significant other and yourself. Even when you go to college, if you think about it, like, now you're living life not just for yourself, but you're still living life for your parents, because they put forth energy in getting you to the level that you are, and in you succeeding in this endeavor that you're playing for gives them a reward. So in the back of your mind, you're like, man, I need to make good grades because I want to make my parents proud. So it's another like this. And my parents are where I might have been in school, and it might have been public school, or it might have been homeschool, or it might have been private school. Like, my parents, the cost might not have been as much as it is now on this higher level. Because if I went to private school when I was in high school, it might have cost XYZ, but 9 times out of 10, because I went to private school and high school and I did well and I'm at the next level, it's safe to assume that this college that I'm at is going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost more than my high school cost. So the level that I'm playing at now has a higher cost. If I do well, there's opportunities for me to succeed well in life. If I mess up, then it's going to cost me more, and it's going to be harder for me to succeed further on down in life. So the game that I'm playing the same game. I'm going to school just like I was going to school in high school, but now I'm playing on a different level. It's a higher level. When we look at it as sports, and we're going to use sports to elevate to this all pro level. When we look at sports, when you're playing sports and you're developing this talent, your high school is some of the best years of sports. It's because this is where you develop your love for the sport on two different levels. You develop it in school, and so you develop this organized team concept. Like you start to see how it feels to win the big game and for the crowd to be roaring for you. You start to get the taste of that. Like, and you get it because whether it's basketball, whether it's football, you have those impromptu games, those backyard games, those street ball games, those football games in the street, and that's where you harness your raw skills, and it's fun and it feels good and you learn stuff, and that's where you get your swags and your dazzle. But boy, it's not the same when you play that school game. Oh, no, no, no. It's not the same when you're playing for that first chance to get that big old high school ring and to get that banner up on the wall and to get that thing on your jacket and to have your school proud of you, and it's all based on a talent that you yourself have. You get to showcase it through all your hard work and your practice, and you start to get the taste of what it means to be coached in and understand that if I work with these other individuals, I can help get this goal that's bigger than myself. You experience that in life, like on the novice level, when you're hanging out with your homeboys and you're doing your sports and you're doing your chess or you're doing your books, you're doing your science project, you're going to the science things, you're going to the math, because wherever you are, whatever thing that it is that you're into, what Thinking with the Big Head teaches you is how to be the man wherever you are, how to be that man, you that man. So it don't matter what it is. The glee club, I was in the chess club, the debate team. I was on the basketball team, the football team. I ran track, and guess what? I also got expelled for getting my dick sucked on school property. I also lost my virginity in the auditorium. I also was just had a notorious reputation of, like, I got expelled my 11th grade year for getting my dick sucked before the basketball game, and there was some other things that went on with it because I was able to talk the young lady into taking care of the rest of the team because it was a team game to me because I was playing on the novice level. I was showcasing my hunter skills. Hey baby, if you can do this for me, and I'm so great, why don't you just look out for the team? Man, we got the whole team. The whole team got, and I paid for that. Point of that is the following year, I'm still exhibiting this behavior of being the ladies' man in school. I didn't learn the lesson, and so the coach is like, hey, sir, we want you to play basketball, but it seems that you love ladies more than you love basketball. So I got cut. Ended up having to play college ball after I graduated high school. Whole point of that being said is this. I was a nerd. Don't forget, I said the chess team. I said the debate. I was the only person from my school to represent in forensics and debate, and I actually won. Let me push my glasses up. On that. Same dude that got his dick sucked. Same dude that was smacking. Why? Because I'm the man. You can be the man no matter what you are in, no matter what you do. It's how you govern yourself. And how do you govern yourself? Like a gentleman. How do you make your decisions? With the big head. I use my swag, my little. Well, I love ladies, so I use my big head to govern myself accordingly. And I'm just so big that one lady understands that she just can't handle it. I don't suggest that that's everything for everybody. I'm just telling you that there's levels to this, and no matter what it is that you're doing, you don't have to feel like, well, because I'm a farmer, I'm this or I'm that, I can't be the man. Yes, you can. That's a lie. You were born to be the man. Everybody, even the assistant pimp plays a position. They're the assistant pimp. Like, to assist is the person that does, like, I can't do the alley-oop slam dunk if don't nobody throw me the ball. So just as important as me dunking the ball is the person that passes me the ball. So if you're the passer, be the best passer. The passer still gets play. The passer is still in the game. You just know, like some people are leaders, some people are followers. If I'm the assistant, I'm gonna be the best assistant that I'm supposed to be. And being the best assistant, guess what? I'll have assistants to teach how to be the best assistant. The assistant has an assistant. The assistant coach has an assistant coach who has an assistant coach who has an assistant who has an assistant that comes all the way down to the player. If you start, and one thing if you have to learn in the game, the player is nothing without the coach, and the coach is nothing without the player. The player can't win by himself. A boxer, like if you study boxing, or we'll use boxing. The manager, the trainer, who prepares the boxer, depending upon the trainer, depends upon will help determine how the boxer will govern themselves, how great they will be, how they will use their abilities. Coach, general, same thing. The general, you can have a shitty ass army, but think about 300. Think about Themistocles. Think about it. Yo, woof, woof, woof. We're gonna stand. We're warriors. I'm gonna give this speech that's gonna rile the crowd. Well, guess what? You have to make the decision to be part of the crowd. You have to make the decision to buy into the speech. You have to make the decision that the person that is speaking to you. When you make that decision, you buy into this group spirit. As the player, you become a better player. I'm going to give you a prime example in sports. Allen Iverson. Great individual player. Scoring accolades out the galore. MVP all along his career. Trendsetter, revolutionary player in the game, changed the way the game was played bigger than anybody his size, with a heart the size of a giant. Was a monster. 5'10" on his best day against giants of 7 feet and greater. Took his team to the top. Him on his shoulders, 5'10" and all. But didn't win. Never won the big game. Why? Wasn't a team player. Didn't grasp the concept of we. And it replicates in his life. Turmoil in the family life. Turmoil, grasping that I'm great, but my greatness can only reach its pinnacle. I can only, even in that level of life, he is on the all madness levels of levels, but he's still playing the game on all Madden of levels with a knowledge game, with a novice level of play. He's not being a better player. He's not grasping that individuality doesn't win the team game, because I was born into a team. I was born into a family. I play this game. I play for this team. And yes, I have all of these accolades to show for my years of service. What do my teammates have? What do my peers have? Because guess what? They're the ones that's going to judge you. Is his number going to be retired? Yeah. Will he reach the Hall of Fame? Yeah. He will reach all these things, but when he's sitting down, and see, you got to understand there's levels to this. So even when you're sitting down at the Hall of Fame table, you've seen the commercial. You've seen the commercial, the Adidas commercial, where the dude is like, yo, we're sitting down and I'm on the phone and I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting around the dudes that are great but never won the championship. I'm not going to be like this dude over here. He ain't win the championship. Hey, Karl Malone, yo, bring me my hamburger. I wasn't talking about you. Yeah, you was super duper great. You had super duper accolades. And yes, you was a super duper great team player. But if you don't got no championship, when you're sitting down with the other greats, you're a great amongst men. But when the great sits down with the greats, It's like the gods. When you're trying to figure out, well, man, how do some gods be better than other gods in the Greek status? Like, how is some gods better than other gods? Just like with athletes. I'm sitting down at the Hall of Fame table, and the Hall of Fame table, everybody got rings except me. I don't got nothing on my hand. I got a wedding ring. I don't got that big ass. I mean, that joint big. Like when you in high school, like I remember when I was in high school and the dudes won the state championship. Man, dudes was walking around like this. They had, man, I knew a dude, man, his finger was almost messed up, man. That jank was so heavy, man, because it did, like, and guess what? How many books have you read? Maybe you are of my age. Maybe you even remember this. Al Bundy. Remember Al Bundy from Love and Marriage? He was a shoe salesman. What was the greatest memory that that shoe salesman had? Do anybody? Just a quick question answer here. A little Jeopardy, a little trivia. Do who remembers what Al Bundy's greatest accolade was? It was winning the big game in high school. It sustained him even when he was a shoe salesman. He was a shoe salesman that drove the Dodge that had 1,000,000 miles on it, literally. His life was crazy. But what sustained him all that time? His biggins. Hey, that's your base runner. Think about thinking with the big head, you gotta have that thing that controls that little head. He had his biggins. He had that thought of his accolades in high school. Those accolades in that time period where you played on that novice level. And if you use your big head and grow and think about it, what took him out the game? What took him out the game of life? Peg. The game is everywhere. If you're not mindful of the women and how you conduct yourself in life, you will lose. Or you'll be placed or thrust upon a level too soon and you're not ready for it. But now that you have the big head and you're starting to recognize these levels, you can play the game and avoid things. Or when there's a problem that happens, you can come to this piece of logic and reasoning over here in your time of emotional state and lower self to come get and lean upon to bring you up out of your lower self, to shine the light on some higher way of thinking or a higher way of doing things. Because there's levels to this. And I have to recognize, okay, I'm playing the game right now. I'm playing the game right now. But am I using my instincts to play the game or am I using my big head? Am I playing the game with a goal in mind to get to, or am I just here in the mix of just doing something? And that's what we're looking to understand. Excuse me. Last but not least, we're going to keep building on this. At the high school level, you reach that college level as an athlete, you reach this all pro level. Now you're playing for a bigger school, a bigger team spirit. And this team spirit reaches all across the country. People everywhere. And the stadium went from your high school, it was a couple thousand or a couple hundred. Now there's tens of thousands, 20s of thousands, and thousands and thousands. Thousands and thousands of people. Maybe, depending upon the school that you may be going to, you may have millions of supporters. So now you're playing this game. Think about it in life on a this the same game. It's the same game of basketball with some of the same dudes that you played against in high school. Some of the same competition. Some of it is better. Of course, it's going to be harder, playing on a harder level. But it's the same game. But now what you're playing for is more. And so that's when you get introduced to this all pro level. You get introduced to now you have a woman, she has a child, she's pregnant with a child, or now you're engaged, and now you have to do things, but now you have to do things for more than one person. You have to do things for two people or three people. And not only that, you have to think for more than one person. And that's the added addition to this next level. If you're not ready and if you don't know enough for yourself, how can you be ready to teach another? And that's what like you're doing when you go to this next level. When you say, okay, I want you to be my fiance, I want you to be my wife, I want to have this child. I'm ready to take what it is that I know in life, what it is I've worked towards in life, the things that I have, my goals, and I'm ready to share them. I'm ready to expand the people that are involved with them to where these people on a higher level. So that when I mean by a higher level is when I if you were a friend of mine and I achieved the goal, let's just say my goal is $1 million contract. If you are a friend of mine and we're playing on a novice level, but I reached this goal, this all Madden goal on a novice level, I'm gonna give you $1,000. But if you are playing the game with me and you're playing the game on the all pro level, which means we were more intricate. The partnership was deeper. The effort was deeper. The work that we put in was deeper. The sacrifices and the risks that we took were deeper. The commitment is deeper. The love, the understanding is deeper. Then instead of you getting $1,000, you may get $100,000. You might get $500,000. You might split it in half because the degree of which you were involved and the degree in which I owe you is more. If you, prime example, if you achieve the goal, right? And you're playing a game, and this is why you have to be thinking with the big head. You're playing a game with a novice level with a young lady, and so now you transcend to the all pro level with this young lady, and you achieve your novice level goal on the all man level, and so that means you get this $1 million contract, and now you're playing this game now on the $1 million level because you got this contract, you achieved this one goal, which just led to a bigger goal, and now you're with this person. This woman, you made this commitment with for whatever reason, and let's say the commitment breaks. This person is going to try to leave with more of that $1 million than if they were just on that novice level. If it's your baby mama now, this baby mama's gonna want, instead of if it was just your friend, she would be like, oh man, I just think that he owes me $1,000 because we worked on it. But now that I'm his baby mama, damn that I'm owed 100,000. I'm owed more than this. I'm obligated to something. See how like the level has increased, and then once the child comes into fruition and the child is here and the child is eating and now you're responsible for it, now you're transcending on the levels of not all pro. You don't reach that all mat level until you make that lifelong commitment. And so that's the transcendence in between. If you were an athlete, when you go from playing basketball or playing the sport or playing video games because it's something that you're really really good at and it is a passion and you're just following it because you're transcending to the next level. Well, when you go to the all Madden level, this is where you're playing the game because it's supposed to sustain, like the game sustains you for the rest of your life. Like basketball, now I'm in the NBA, I'm in the ABA, I'm in the Euro League, I'm in the professional league. So now I play the game for the because this is my life. This child, this woman, once you get married, once you get it, take on the actual qualities, you're now playing the game for life. These people are your responsibilities for life. And so you have to govern yourself accordingly for life. And then there's levels to this for lifeness. It's a process. But do you see how like it transcends? Like I was a high school player in the game, I was in the novice level, and I developed this and I developed that, and this is what made me good. In college, I refined it. I grasped more of the team concept. I was on TV, so I got more exposure. The lights was on me. I developed in the intensity of how I played the game, how I took the game. I learned more. And what did it do? The rewards and the hard work paid off. So now I'm doing what it is that I was gifted to do, something I did in my novice life, and an opportunity to make an impact on my life and the world. This is how, if I play the game of life, I can get to the top. Because I put what is first and foremost, and I govern myself accordingly. I interact with the women so that they help me get there and never a distraction. And so everything works well for me. And so, with all that being said, I transcend to the all pro level. I'm on this, and everything changes. Everything is heightened. Everything is enhanced. Everything. The media is on the cost and the risk and the benefits. Everything is so great, and I have to just govern myself. If I want it all, I can have it all. It's just that everything is harder, but it's better. It's better than being down there. I know what it's like to be down there because I talk to people all the time by using my housing once, and they tell me what it's like down there, and I'm glad I'm not down there. I'm glad I'm not experiencing that life. I'm glad I'm not a woulda, coulda, shoulda been, but I am the man. I coulda, woulda, but shoulda been, and if I'm not the man now, I see where I am in the process of becoming the man. I recognize it. I recognize that there's a process. It's just like all the way up to draft day. You're not a player until you're drafted. You know you're gonna get drafted. Then once you become drafted, you still don't know. You're still not on the team till you actually become a part of the. Till you actually sign your contract. And then even still, then you can go through training camp, and then they can cut you and dismiss you or put you on the bench. Like you're always showing and proving. The goal always advances. You always have to show and prove. That's why thinking with the big head, it gives us the motivation and tools and everything that we need to give us the ability to go to the top. And then once we get there, the motivation that we need to sustain ourselves, the avenues and directions that we need to better ourselves and be the best. Ink our name in stone so that the world remembers us and we live the life that we were supposed to live. We come to this world because we understand somehow in life, we understand this concept that our spirit came to this world for a reason. And guess what? The spirit achieved its goal because we thought with the big head. That's it. There's levels to this. So there's levels to the game. It's about finding the first and foremost thing you have to find out is where I am in the game. When you find out where you are in the game and what tools you have, like that's a process, and it comes with using your hows and whats. That's why that exercise is so important. It's just like if we're going to use sports, for example, you can see an exercise that's replicated almost all across the sports board. If you ever played sports at any level, I guarantee you, you've done a suicide. When you run back and forth, and you run back and forth, and every single time that you run back and forth, you have to run a further distance and back and forth, and it's usually 3 or 4 distances that you have to run, and that's a suicide. Regardless of what sport you're playing, regardless of what level you're playing on, you have to do this exercise because it conditions the body in a way that prepares it for just sports in general. Using your hows and whats, using your journal, these things prepare you for life in general. Reading books and talking to people and gathering information are tools. They're things that you have to do if you want to succeed in life. You have to do them. They're exercises that you have to practice. There is no getting around him. There is no, that's something else about Allen Iverson that just kept him from being great. If you hear them, there's that big quote that you will always hear. Practice. It was just practice. Practice. Practice is what makes you great. If you think about it, and I'm going to hurry up and wrap this up. If you think about it, how many times. Even if you played basketball for it was just a thing. You played any sport for just a thing. It was just a thing. Like it was just a thing. You were in the backyard, you were somewhere, you were just it was whatever. If you practice it, did you ever practice 3, 2, 1, like 3, 2, 1, and he scores. Kick the ball, and he scores. It's the final down. It's the big game. It's the end. This is it. He's going up for the big kick. He's going up for the big play. You practice this. How often do you expect to ever be in that situation? It's not every game. And some people, even though they practice it, they really never want to be the person that takes the last shot. They don't want to be the person where it all comes down to them. Some people, they want to be that person. They want to be the person that everybody depends on. The crowd is hushed and it's the putt. It's what makes us great. Once in a lifetime moment. It's the championship game. You got the crossover. Here is the shot. Think about it just for 1 second. All of that, we practice it. We see it in commercials. We dream of it. That one time, you practice it so that when and if that one time ever comes, you hit the shot. All those years, you practice for this one hypothetical situation that you know that if you do it, it will define greatness. It's your opportunity. How do you ensure yourself that when the time comes, you can do it? You practice. Nobody's around. There's nothing on the line. It's time. As a matter of fact, it's time to go in. It's the last shot. It's that repetition. It's that it's almost a twofold process. It's the practicing of it with the law of attraction that will eventually bring it to you, will eventually bring you that opportunity to show your glory, to be the great one. But it also just gives you that little bit of confidence, time, so that when the time comes, it's just like in the backyard. My hows, my whats, my wins, their wheres, I practice them on my mom, my dad, my kids, in everybody. Why? Because that one person that can make my dreams come true, when I come across them, I want to be flawless in how my hows and whats come across. So the process of me introducing myself, me introducing themselves to me, and me getting to the goal and the purpose, it just flows, and next thing you know, greatness happens. Because we all know, if we read the books and we listen to the stories, nobody does anything by themselves that is great. They're always somebody else. Man, I met this person and they look out for me. They introduced me to someone. That's how I got my deal. That's how I got my introduction. That's how I got introduced to the game. That's how it happened. And it all happened. You would want it. Thinking with the big head, being the best, being the man. You would just want these opportunities to flow seamlessly and flawlessly. Every single time a person walks in front of me, I use my hows and whats because I'm great. I realize that there's levels to this. I reached the level to the individual where they know the importance of it is to me. They know the importance of it is to them. We work together, we succeed, and we win the game all across the board. Who I play for, how I play, the tactics, the repercussions. These things can be found in. There are levels to this thinking with the big head. This is the governor to the game. Power up.